Ladies and gentlemen, the war between Edwin Sifuna and Oburu Oginga is likely to force William Ruto to go back to the mountain and try to win their support.
Oburu, tafuta SG wako. Mimi siwezi kuwa SG wa Oburu. Hiyo nataka niseme hapa mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu na mbele ya taifa zima. I will not be the SG of mediocrity after Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. You characters don't deserve me.
I'm saying this because let me ask you this question. Between Linda Wananchi of Edwin Sifuna and Linda Ground of Oburu Oginga, in your honest opinion, which one do you think is popular right now? Which one? And because of that fallout, ODM is definitely going to be divided. And a divided ODM will force William Ruto to go back to the mountain.
Watu wengine wanajaribu kuniweka makosa ati sijui William Ruto ametoa watu ya mlima kwa serikali. William Ruto, mimi nataka niwaulize huyu Professor Kindiki, mimi si mtu mgeni kwenu. Mimi ni mgeni kweli? Si nimekuja Kirinyaga mara nyingi? Na urafiki hatukuanza last week ama last year. Urafiki tumetoana mbali.
I'm saying this because you all know that President William Ruto engineered the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. And William Ruto did that because he was sure of the support of Raila Amolo Odinga.
The naysayers give us space, give us room, and judge us in 2027. And we have said this is going to remain in place up to 2027. After that, we will see where we go to. Even if you are saying one term, so what? It's the Kenyans who will decide the term, and we will see where we want to go. I am confident when that time comes, we will face Kenyans squarely and tell Kenyans, this is why we did ABCD, this is where we want to go. Utasema yako, tutasema yetu. Tuone Wakenya watamini nani.
Because he was sure of the support of Raila Amolo Odinga. As fate would have it, Raila Odinga passed on. We all know that in 2022, the difference between William Ruto and Raila Odinga, despite the allegations of rigging, the difference was only 200,000 votes. And with the support of Raila Odinga, William Ruto believed that he only needed just a fraction of the mountain and the ODM support for him to sail through. In fact, if Raila Odinga's support base was intact, then William Ruto only needed the support he got, let's say, from Western, or maybe the support he got from Rift Valley, and then he didn't need the mountain. But the fallout within ODM party, I can assure you, William Ruto will have to now go back to the mountain to try and win their support. In this video, I want to explain to you guys why William Ruto will have to be forced to go back to the mountain and try and win their support. But let me ask you this question. Do you think Mount Kenya will be able to vote for William Ruto in 2027? So before I do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, something is happening in ODM strongholds. The Linda Ground is losing momentum. Their supporters, as we speak, are not very happy. They're not very happy because I think the approach they're making is not working for them. And because of that, Edwin Sifuna and the group are taking advantage of that. And they're actually winning the hearts of their supporters. Which means William Ruto will now have to be forced to consider going back to the mountain. Remember, the ODM camp has been trying to put some conditions for the president. They are insisting that for them to support William Ruto, they must be given the running mate. And also they are saying for them to support William Ruto, zoning has to take place in their regions. Some of those demands are making sense, but again, they also don't make sense. So which means William Ruto is in a situation where now he's not sure of getting the intact ODM support. Because without that intact ODM support, William Ruto will have to go and look for votes elsewhere. Because let's face it, let's say the mountain refused to support Ruto. Let's say Ukambani refused to support Ruto. And Kisi. Those three voting blocks alone is a threat already for William Ruto. And now he had hoped of getting the support of ODM. If you look at ODM, the votes Raila Odinga got in the last election, where the difference was 200, you remove the Kalonzo votes. How many votes are left there? Then you go and remove the Kisi votes, because Matiang'i is going with them. Then now you had expected ODM to remain united. But now we are seeing Sifuna and Oburu also splitting. So which votes do you think William Ruto will get from ODM? Can't make him the president, so he has to go back. Why is he going back? Number one, the game of numbers. Politics is a game of numbers. If Raila Odinga was alive today, I can assure you William Ruto would not be worried. Raila Odinga had a way of managing his support base. You would be sure that Edwin Sifuna would not have formed if Raila Odinga was alive, the leader Wananchi. Oburu Odinga would not be the party leader. You will be rest assured that Raila Odinga probably by now would have directed his supporters whether to support William Ruto or not. And that's very important, because if Raila Odinga had told his supporters to support Ruto, probably they would have followed. If he had told them we are not supporting Ruto, it would have been much easier for William Ruto to go to the mountain to work again with them, because you know there was that Raila phobia in the mountain. Mount Kenya would have supported Ruto, because there's this narrative that the mountain is opposed to Ruto because Ruto entered into some deal with Raila Odinga. So the game of numbers, if you have to take your pen and a paper, numbers will force Ruto to try so hard to win the support of Mount Kenya. If Raila was there, Ruto would not be bothered. Now with the Raila out, with the war in ODM, Kalonzo out, Kisi out, Ruto will have to go back to the mountain. So that's number one. Number two, this war between Sifuna and Oburu is going to have serious political implications in terms of MPs, MCS, governors, senators, and women rep. Serious implication. And the truth is, right now, if elections were held in Kenya, ODM, because Sifuna and the group will form another party, ODM will not get the exact number of MPs they got in the Luhya nation. Even in Luo here, in Luo Nyanza here, if they are not careful, they lose several seats, probably to independent candidates. Nairobi is already a threat. You go to coast, they're not very sure. So for William Ruto, he's losing the number of MPs from the mountain. He had hoped to counter that by Raila Odinga MPs. Now Raila is not there. Ruto will have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how his party can win 1, 2, 3 seats from the mountain. And probably that can explain why William Ruto of late has been trying to focus in Mount Kenya. He was in Kirinyaga. He met Kirinyaga leaders. He was in Nyeri the other day. He was also in Kiambu, trying to fix things. Seats, parliamentary seats. Number 3 is Nairobi politics. Now, ODM has always been very strong in Nairobi with Baba. Now, ODM is now split into 2. So in Nairobi now, we have Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna, who is going to lead the ODM charge in Nairobi. Because if Sifuna and Babu and their supporters were to join the other camp, ODM will see Pepe in Nairobi. And that's the reality. William Ruto understands that. And there's no way you can become the president of the Republic of Kenya without Nairobi. So which means William Ruto will have to now go to the mountain and fight for a certain percentage, even if it's 30%. Because I know William Ruto is definitely going to perform better than Raila did in Mount Kenya. So even if it's 30%, he will have to be forced. Because the Oburu and Sifuna war is complicating the equation completely. And importantly, he has to go back to the mountain because of the blackmail from ODM leaders. You see, ODM leaders understands that, William Ruto has been dumped by the mountain. And they're putting pressure on him. They're putting conditions. They don't care whether their ground is slippery or not. So for them, they're saying, we want the running mate. So for William Ruto, he will now have to go back to the mountain. Because the moment he will go back to the mountain, the truth is, if William Ruto is working with the mountain, he doesn't need ODM. And if he's working with the mountain, then ODM is coming up with the demands, he can ask Oburu and the team, where are your numbers? Because with the emergence of Linda Wananchi, Oburu and Wanga can now not prove the numbers. So they will not be able to blackmail William Ruto with the numbers. And that's why it's also very important for ODM, that is Oburu and Wanga, if I were to advise them, to take a tactical retreat. Go back to the people through town hall meetings. Then start persuading the supporters. And importantly, the perception. William Ruto needs the perception. And lastly, the perception. Politics is a perceptional game. And for William Ruto, he must refuse the idea that the mountain, which voted for him to the last man in the last election, is not going to vote for him. So he must go back fully to that campaign. But at the back of his mind, he should know that he's not doing this because of that. He should know that he's doing this because the Sifuna wave is complicating the equation for him. I don't know what you think. I don't think William Ruto can win the presidency without the support of the mountain, maybe 30% of the mountain, if Sifuna and the group were to bolt out of Oburu camp. Let me read your comments below. Bye-bye.